Alrighty, episode number 7 of West Coast Wednesday, where I'll be previewing the Port of Tucson Twin 100s that will take place this Saturday, May 11th at Tucson Speedway in Arizona, the site of the early days of the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series when it was known as the NASCAR Super Truck Series, powered by Craftsman. It is a significant race for several drivers, including Cody Vanderwall and Derek Kraus. And in case you were wondering, where's the hype video? It hasn't come out, and it won't come out until probably later in the week. I'm waiting to see if I can record the NBCSN race that had the second race in South Boston, or catch the replay on FansRace.tv if they put it up anytime soon. Because the uploader, Some Full Races 2018, 2019, I think that's the channel on YouTube is called, he does not have it up yet. He only has the first one. And I need the second one to incorporate what I will be saying and what I have on the script for the intro for the Tucson race. In case if you're wondering, Derek Kraus won the second South Boston race this past Sunday after the race was postponed from Saturday night to Sunday afternoon, only running the first 20 laps. And just like what he did in New Smyrna, Derek Kraus won the postponed race, which puts him now in an interesting and historic battle, I might add. On the West Coast, he is 3 points behind Hailie Deegan and 1 point behind Trevor Huddleston for second. But in the East, he's pretty much become a championship contender. After Sam Mayer had problems in the second race, and which he didn't complete. Here's the thing: Sam Mayer had problems in the Saturday night portion of the second race. Didn't finish and instead he gave it to another competitor because he had prior commitment. Hailie Deegan, who struggled in the first race, didn't have much to show in the second because of family stuff going on that she completely withdrew from the second South Boston race. She'll be credited with a 12th place result. So it was basically Derek Kraus and Travis Milburn, along with Ron J, that pretty much were the main contributors on the Sunday race representing the West. And now Derek Kraus is in a championship battle in the K&N East side. And normally when I talk about K&N East is when I mention West Coast regulars, like the aforementioned Kraus, Deegan, Jay, and Travis Milburn. Who, I might add, Travis Milburn had an astounding 7th place finish in the first race. He was the best overall West regular. Yes, he beat outright both McAnally cars. 7th. And for a driver and for a car like his, the Idaho 208 car, which is numbered the 08, that's a really strong showing for him to come to South Boston on the East Coast, compete with the East likes of Ruben Garcia, Sam Mayer, and others, Colin Cabret, Colin Garrett. It is a huge top 10 for a guy like Trevor Milburn to get 7th and be the best of the West. As for Tanner Gray, he had his maiden win and just only his his fourth overall K&N start. 3 in the East, counting New Smyrna, Bristol, and then the one at Irwindale where he came up just short of beating Trevor Huddleston. The 4th race of his K&N Pro Series career combined. And just this would be his 5th. Yeah, no. Yes, this would be that. First South Boston race was his 4th. His 5th was the 2nd. So it didn't take long for good old Tanner Gray to win in NASCAR. It didn't take him long. And with him running at Tucson, which I'll discuss the entry list shortly, this is quite a good deal for him. I think he should run as many West races as possible to see how DGR does on the West, kind of like what McAnally does on the East when they're standalones, by the way. This begs the question, could he run Sonoma? I would like to see him run Sonoma and see how he does on a road course. Sure, it's one thing to have experience at Sonoma. The thing is, he only has the drag strip experience. This is the road course. It's obvious that road course and drag strips are completely different animals. So he doesn't really have a true advantage if he were to run Sonoma, of course, but we don't know at that moment. He will be running Watkins Glen because he is an East regular. But for Milburn, that's really good. For Deegan, that's the championship leader going into twin races. This is a huge race for her. As I mentioned throughout the season, though, so far, can she have a complete race where she's the class of the field and runs really well? Because while both of them were wins that were on the last lap pass in turn number 1 with a bump and run. Now the question, can she do the same thing? And the same can be said about Derek Kraus. Can he put a complete race on the West Coast? We've seen what he can do in the East. And he is on his way probably competing for both championships, the West and the East. If he were to pull those things, both titles off, that would be a huge NASCAR history note. Because after what happened to Noah Gragson, the winner of the 2015 Tucson race, which I'll discuss as far as the particular third place finisher who will be making his return since that affirmation race in 2015. Gragson, pretty much you call it the Noah Gragson rule, where at the time when Gragson was running for both series, Can-Am East and Can-Am West, you can only pick one. And ever since then, now they're given the option to run both if you like. Like Todd Gilliland tried to win both titles. He came up short, as if memory serves correctly, the one year that he tried for both titles. Gilliland won the West, of course, and in the East, it was Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton finished third at Dover. Derek Kraus ran the truck race also in the Monster Mile. He earned a top 10. Todd Gilliland, at this point, he's probably on his way out from Kyle Busch Motorsports. The way he ran, the way he was just outperformed by Rafael Lessard, that is not a good showing. That is not going to help his stock. Sure, he'll probably get a ride with DGR in 2020, but this is not a good time period for Todd. Harrison is the rookie points leader right now, and he had a really good run after wrecking at Texas that knocked him from 4th to 9th in the championship standings before getting that third place run. He had a tremendous battle with Sheldon Creed and Brett Moffitt at one point, which, if you haven't checked it out, it's on the full race of the Truck Series on NASCAR. In case if you're wondering, they do put Truck Series there now. But this is a huge deal. If Kraus were to run for both titles, I can safely say he could be considered the undisputed king of the regionals. Sure, you have the modified, but we're talking about fully built, full-body stock cars here. This is why Tucson is a big deal. He's got to do really well at Tucson. You got to stay out of trouble, seal the deal. Hopefully, he doesn't lose it late in the corner by going on the high line, like what happened at Irwindale, where he had the race in the bag, but then he went wide, and then Tanner Gray and obviously the eventual winner Trevor Huddleston got by in the bottom. You can't have those little mistakes. Sure, he's 3 points behind right now by Haley Deegan and a point behind Huddleston for second. So, and nothing's for sure. I think this West Championship is going to be spicy all the way till the finale at Phoenix, which is also obviously another Arizona race. Outside of California, Arizona hosts the most races on the Can-Am West calendar. And the fact that there's 2 races, I think for drivers like for those who ran the South Boston races, they think they'll have momentum like a Ron J, Travis Milburn, and the McAnally drivers, excluding Brittany Samora. Who I might add, Samora did really good at Irwindale. It'd be interesting how she does in twin races. Like I said, as the season goes on, it'll be interesting how she does. Can she stay up and can stay with the McAnally cars? And I think Irwindale was a really good example that she did pretty well. But we'll see how she does going forward. On one, me being from the state of Washington, of course, there's something to keep an eye on the Kennewick native. And another is how she will do with the 2 teammates that are fighting for a championship. For Kraus, is another crack at it. Deegan, this is her first true season to show something. And here's my concern with Deegan after a bad showing after a bad weekend at Bristol, and then what happened in South Boston where she didn't really had a performance worth note. This is alarming. This is very alarming. Because for her to live up to that future moniker, the future of the sport, she's shown that she can win. I mentioned she's got to show it complete. When she wins the pole, controls the race, how she'll do. Can she pull away? Can she be the dominant female that nobody has ever seen in ages in the world of NASCAR, regional or national? Doesn't matter. Because, sure, Bristol was a week to forget. South Boston, they're really not much on. And I'm not going to consider that 12th in the second race as a detriment because it's obviously family issues, it's family stuff. Of course, racing is important for a lot of people, but family, my opinion, the family comes first, is as important. But going forward, the East races that she's going to run, not counting the combo races, she's got to show strong results. She's got to show herself out there. The fact that the only thing that people talked about Deegan was that incident with Colin Garrett before the Mother Nature reared its ugly head and washed out the South Boston circuit. Colin Garrett was not happy, and I got mentioned on Twitter, myself and Matt Weber, saying that they were concerned about Colin Garrett running another car, which was Ruben Garcia's car, because Ruben had to go run the NASCAR Peak Series in Mexico, in which he's one of the best drivers from that country that the sport has ever seen, not since probably Jorge Guedes or Daniel Suarez. He's up in that level with Daniel Suarez, and Jorge Guedes is one of the best drivers from Mexico that's ever hit a stock car. And he's one I will like to see him run national someday on a road course to start off, or on an oval. I like to see him run several races. So you've seen Alon Day. We have not seen the Pinty's guy all that much. JP Dumoulin, we have not seen him get a good crack on the national tour yet. But I think Ruben Garcia will be interesting to keep an eye on in the future. But anyways, there was a concern that whether or not a driver replacing another driver who was already out is a concern. Well, here's the thing. It's been done before. This is nothing new. Back in 1998 in the Die Hard 500, Dale Earnhardt was involved in that violent wreck with Bill Elliott with the big one. It was one of the dozen red flags in 1998. Dale Earnhardt was very angry. He didn't want nothing to do with the Talladega after getting involved in the wreck. He was very livid, and pretty much from what I say, anybody that got in his way, you better move out of the way. The RCR crew, the number 3 team, fixed the car, but with no Earnhardt, they brought in Kyle Petty to drive the 3 car. But then when Kyle Petty's 44 Hot Wheels car, there you go, was fixed, Kyle Petty had to bring the 3 car back in for him to jump to the 44, and Joe Nemechek ended up finishing the race in that number 3 Goodrich car. So it's been done before. But here's the thing, and then I told them that I wouldn't worry about Colin Garrett getting revenge on Deegan. I wouldn't be worried because Deegan, as I've already mentioned what happened down in South Boston, that she didn't complete the second race. And of course they couldn't find a relief driver either. So the 19 ultimately had to finish 12th, but in hindsight, a withdrawal type of thing. So nothing to worry about. Well, it's nothing new, and I don't think that was planned. It's been planned. Colin and Ruben are close buddies, so there you go, the buddy system. I wouldn't sweat about that all that much, to be frank, when it comes to Deegan and Colin Garrett. But going forward, she's got to deliver strong results in the East, in those East standalones. And especially when she gets to ARCA, that will be the ultimate test when ARCA rolls along, which is not that far from now. We're almost coming to Pocono in June. That is not that long from us. It's about a month from now. We'll see Deegan doing some ARCA races in the IK9.com car. So, this is some tumultuous times, interesting time period for Deegan to step up. And of course, Tucson will be the starting point because he still has that championship lead. She'll put Irwindale behind, that's for sure. Because Irwindale was one of those racing deals, there was no contact between she and Tanner Gray. That was more of a racing ordeal where car bottomed out and just lost control. She recovered okay, but that took her out of the race win picture. And of course, you know what happened in Irwindale. I don't need to explain it anymore. Epic finish. That is good stuff for the West. With that momentum, with what happened with Huddleston and Tanner Gray, that's newsworthy on the regional side. That is a big deal. And this is going to be a huge race for Huddleston. Because if he has a really good race and showcases what he's made of, he could come out as a championship leader. Jagger Jones could come out a championship leader as well. But the one big picture, the one I'll be eyeing on the most is indeed 2-time Tucson winner, the sweeper, got the broomstick, Cody Vanderwall, number 43. He swept both races a year ago, and he did it in a way where he had to hold off Derek Thorne and Ryan Partridge, who were driving the 6 and 9 car at the time. He was clutch at the very end. He held them off from a late race restart and just outright beating them in the second race. With a stronger car compared to Flying Dutchman Racing to a Levine car. Levine has a little bit more power of a car. If he comes out of Tucson, he's coming into a 10th in the championship trail after an 18th at Irwindale where he cut a tire and brought out a caution that ultimately led to the break. This is a huge race for him. He's got a lot of expectations, and he knows that track very well. In between those two Tucson wins a year ago, he was running other races, the supporting stuff as well in between. That's kind of what they did with South Boston with one of those little other racing series that they had. It's also on YouTube on that very same channel. I think Some Full Races 2018, 2019, I think it's called, or 2017, 2018. Just type in K&N East South Boston. You'll find the channel. It's pretty straightforward. He has the full races up not that long after his FansChoice.tv streams it live. And which, by the way, the Tucson race will be at 7 p.m. local time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The run is 7. The second Tucson race will be at around 9 to 9:30 p.m. Just for a little noteworthy information. For those who are wondering about the time. And all K&N West races will be on FansChoice.tv. And after every K&N West race, you'll expect a race review the Wednesday, a few days after. Every Wednesday, when time permits, there will be West Coast Wednesday episodes. So, speaking of Tucson, let's talk about the entry list. So here we go. Right now, it is 17 cars on the initial entry list. No TBDs, no to be determined or to be announced. This is what we have right now. And of course, there's could probably be a few more that'll enter. We'll find out that you'll find out on the stream, or you'll find out when I review the race. Number 6, Jagger Jones. Number 7, Dustin Ash. It is not Joey Tanner this time around. It's going to be Dustin Ash, who only has one K&N West start, and that was at Tucson in 2015 when he finished third. He finished third in that race behind Grayson Raz and Noah Gregson, the race winner. Number 08, Travis Milburn. He finished 7th at South Boston in the first race. Tremendous run for him. Number 8 will be Billy Cann. Number 9 will be Trevor Huddleston. Number 10, Matt Levine. Number 13, Todd Sousa. Number 15, Tanner Gray will be running another K&N West race. I say keep an eye on him. I think he's adapted to stock car racing really well so far. The reigning, defending Pro Stocks champion on the NHRA Tour. Number 16, Derek Kraus. Number 18, Bill Cann. Both Canns, Bill and Billy, will be running it. Number 8 will be the Knight Rider Jewelry Chevrolet with crew chief Steve Elder. And the number 18 will be Kevin Loster, the crew chief. It will be the traditional Interstate Battery Chevy. Number 19 will be Haley Deegan. Number 36, Ron J. Number 38, John Wood. Number 40 will be Austin Thom in the second Levine car. I will say a comment because I mentioned in the race results, I said Austin Thorne. My huge sincere apology, it is Austin Thom. I don't know why I thought Thorne. Maybe because I need a new prescription on my glasses or something else, but it is Austin Thom, not Austin Thorne in number 40. Number 43, the defending winner, Cody Vanderwall. Number 77, Takuma Koga. And the number 99 will be Brittany Samora. There are 17 entries for the Tucson Twin 100. And so there is your lineup. It's pretty much what the usuals for the most part, with the exception of Dustin Ash in the 7. That's pretty much it. The only major change other than both Cann drivers, Bill and Billy, will be running it at this moment in time. So here are the last 5 winners at Tucson. 2015, Noah Gregson. 2016, Ryan Partridge. 2017, Chris Eggleston, who had another violent crash in Colorado not that long ago. And what I mean by another, because he had a heavy wreck a year ago, and his only K&N West race that he drove in 2018, that he rode the turn 3 wall, brought out the red flag, and damaging a beautiful number 15 Napa brakes Toyota. It was a beautiful looking car that was just destroyed. And it was I think it was in Roseburg, Oregon. It was the race after Deegan captured her maiden win at Meridian in the penultimate round of the championship, if memory serves correctly. I think that's what it was. Yeah, should make sense. But as far as history, Tucson Speedway, as I mentioned, the Super Truck Series ran from 95 to 97 with Ron Hornaday winning the inaugural race. Skinner in 96. 97 was won by Ron Hornaday. Let's take a look at other stuff. Like I mentioned, the Winter Series. The Winter Series, Tucson was the place for the origins of the Truck Series, as they had 3 races in 1994, including one in 1995. In January, that's why they call it the Winter Series. Ron Hornaday won the first one in 94. The second one was to Rick Corelli. The last one on December 11th of 94 was P.J. Jones. And 1995 was Mike Skinner. Those were the exhibition non-classified ones. Those were the Winter Series before the inaugural Truck Series race was held at ISM Raceway, which was known at the time Phoenix International Raceway. It was part of the Skull Classic. The classic race that really could be used again. But then again, it's how USAC grows, that tradition doesn't really exist these days, to the point that owners are wanting to have a similar plot with the 25-8 rule that led to the split. And I am one of those that I agree. Hashtag fastest 33. But that's enough IndyCar talk for the moment. Now let's talk about my predictions. Who do I think will win? Who I think you can keep an eye on? A dark horse? Or who has something to prove? The race winner. And we're going to do this is for both races. First win. I firmly believe Tanner Gray could pull it off. I think Tanner Gray could get his first K&N West win in the first race. I think it's going to come down between he and Derek Krause. And if it does come down to this, that could be a sneak preview for the K&N East Championship, which I do believe in the East Coast, I see as many as about 5 drivers maybe going for that title. You have Krause, you have Gray, you have Sam Mayer, you probably could have Cabrera, maybe one other guy. That will be interesting. On the West, it could be more. It could be, of course, there's right now Deegan, Krause, Jones, Huddleston. Those are pretty much the 4 that are going to be fighting for that title all season long, unless Vanderwall turns things around. And the second race, I do think that second race will favor, no doubt, Derek Krause. I think it could favor him as long as he stays out of trouble. Remember, and history has been proven sometimes that the starting grid for race number 2 is normally determined by the fastest lap times of the first race. While I do think Derek Krause could win the second race, I do believe Jagger Jones could win the second one. Wouldn't it be something that we'll have 2 first-time winners in the K&N West Impact in one night? That would be something if you ask me. So yeah, race number 1, I'm going with Tanner Gray. Race number 2, I'm going with Jagger Jones. The one to keep an eye on for sure are Cody Vanderwall and Derek Krause. Those are the 2 you want to keep an eye on. And when that hype video comes out, they are the 2 drivers in subject of that hype video. Because one is going for redemption and trying to redeem himself as a dark horse contender for the championship. Another one is getting his double title quest going. We don't know if he'll be. This is the thing. This is a big question mark. Will he actually try to run the K&N East Championship as well? I personally believe he should run for the K&N East title and for the West. It won't hurt. It'll give him more seating time, and I think in the long run, that could really help him. Because he's running some truck races, remember. But for him to be busy all season long in the NASCAR sanctioning bodies, in the sanctioning races, that will really help him in the long run. And hopefully, he could be the guy that could break the curse of that number 16 Napa machine. Because when you look at the drivers before him, Gilliland, Austin Cameron, Brendan Gaughan. Brendan Gaughan was the most successful out of all of them. But when he reached the Cup Series, nothing happened. He ended up fading away. But when he came back to trucks, he had moderate success. In the Nationwide / Xfinity Series, he showed to be pretty good. He won at a road course once. Just remember that. By the way, Brendan Gaughan finished 8th at Talladega a couple weeks ago. Really good run for him in the beard oil. Remember, he's mentioned it multiple times. And even when I was at Daytona 500 Media Day, he said it, and I remember very well. If he somehow wins at Daytona or Talladega, whichever comes first, he'll be saying goodbye. He's won. Well, he has to say, Brendan Gaughan is set. He runs these races because he loves running them. It's the gratitude and joy that gets him. But he said, if he wins a Cup race, that's the end of his NASCAR career. Wouldn't that be something? I think it'll be exciting to see if it actually happens. But you will never know if it will happen. And as far as, Sean Woodside, 1999 winner, is another driver from the 16 cam. His story was kind of rather sad because it basically illness cut his promising peak of probably making it into the Busch Series someday. So, this is a huge deal. And the dark horse, I still got to go with Cody Vanderwall. He's the dark horse of this one. And I mentioned with a stronger car, he could probably do it again. You never know. Like I mentioned, Irwindale is Trevor Huddleston's playground. Tucson is Cody Vanderwall's. Even though he's not from the state of Arizona, he's run there dozens of times. So there's no doubt he will be one contender. So here is the rundown. The dark horse will be Cody Vanderwall. The ones to keep an eye on, Vanderwall and Derek Cross. The one that needs to prove something, I believe the one who's got to prove that like a good turnaround is Travis Milburn. We'll see how he does. Can he get a top 10? If he can get a top 10, that will be really good for him. It's good momentum. It's a good momentum builder for him, I might add. After finishing 7th in the first race, being the best in the West, of course you gotta keep an eye on him and see how he does. Sure, Milburn is one of those guys that nobody really pays attention on, but compared to most drivers in his caliber, he's one of the more better ones out there. So far he hasn't gotten anybody's way. Sure, Vegas, his day didn't really last, but he's not one of those that gets in the way big time. And that is very key and important. And if he doesn't get in anybody's way, that could ruin a race and a good battle, like a couple times this season it has, I'm pretty sure he'll get a top 10. So he's my guy to something to prove. Race winners for race number 1, Tanner Ray. Race number 2 will be Jagger Jones. So until I get that intro, get the clips from the second South Boston race, here's the thing. It is May 11th. The NASCAR Cup race at Kansas is also on May 11th. So I'm in a tough box. Because I write for Motorsports Reviewed, and since the Can-Am West is no longer part of the package for the site anymore, of course the priority will be the Cup Series race. So, if you don't see a West review the Wednesday after the Tucson races, I'm warning you right now, there's a reason. Because it's going to be a logistical battle trying to get the Can-Am West. Because I record the Can-Am West, and then not that long after, look at the clips, write the script of the highlight reels, and discuss about it. So this one might be my toughest one, because it does fall on a Cup race, of which I have priority to write about the Cup race. So that's the thing. Keep an eye on. If I don't have anything up on the 15th, it's because of that. For no other reason. And as far as the intro, I'm hoping it will come up soon, because I love doing those hype videos. Sometimes it's hard, and it's one of those cases where I didn't really thought about it. Because of course, I don't know for the East race, I don't know what to expect. You never know what will happen, or just on the Canada East side, I wasn't really expecting Kraus to win. I was thinking he'd be a contender, but the fact that he won it, and then incorporating on the hype video, that's going to be a chance. You just don't know. It's just expect the unexpected. You just cannot go in and predict, like, oh, okay, nothing's going to happen. Something will happen. That is always the case. Always. So, when that hype video will come out, you'll see it on my channel. You'll see it. For sure. The question is, it will be when will you see it? As I'm recording this on Tuesday, it could be now, it could be later, who knows? But if you didn't see it, that's why. Because I'm waiting, I have other alternatives. I can wait till the NBCSN airs those soft Boston races, or wait till FansRace.tv shows it on the replay archives. More likely, I may be leading on the NBCSN because it'll be a little bit more quicker. But you will see it. I promise, you will see it before Saturday, May 11th. But as far as the race review, this one might be the most toughest one, I think, for the time being. Other than the race at Sonoma and Phoenix. Those are going to be tough as well to give you race footage as far as the highlight package, because I'll be at the track more than likely for those races as well. So that is your reminder. But when it'll go up and when the time comes to put it together, you will see it, and I'll give you the rundown as always. West Coast Wednesday is a project of mine, and I want to keep going because I am passionate about this K&N West stuff. I want to keep it alive and rolling because compared to the East gets more coverage, it gets more notoriety than the West. I want to bring something to the K&N West fans as much as I can, and when time permits. So hopefully you enjoyed my preview. I know I rambled on a little bit, but I got to explain that stuff to you because that is very important for this series and for also scheduling purposes. Remember, I primarily write the national stuff, but I like talking about the regional stuff as well. So hope you enjoyed this preview, and when that hype video and race review will come, I will guarantee you it will be with quality. So until we meet again, I hope you enjoy this episode, and if you care enough, let me know. Who do you think will be the ones to win at the Tucson races? There are two of them, the Twin 100s. So keep that in mind. For now, I'll catch you guys later. And hopefully, that hype video will come out as best as possible and as soon as possible.